The party was held in a renovated vineyard estate north of Annapolis, the kind of place designed to look effortless while quietly announcing how expensive everything was. White lights hung through the trees. Soft jazz moved somewhere behind the conversations. Servers carried narrow glasses no one seemed to finish. Clara stood near the back patio doors for almost 10 minutes before anyone noticed she had arrived, not because she looked invisible, because she looked functional. Her dress was simple and dark blue, slightly wrinkled from sitting in traffic for 2 hours after work. A rectangular security badge still hung from her waist where she'd forgotten to remove it. When her younger sister finally crossed the room toward her, Leah kissed the air beside her cheek instead of touching her. "You made it," she said, already glancing elsewhere. Clara nodded. "Congratulations." Leah stepped back and looked her over. Her smile tightened at the badge. "Nice dress," she said lightly. Then her eyes dropped. Shame about the cheap name tag. A few people nearby laughed automatically, not cruelly at first, more socially, reflexively, but laughter has weight when it arrives from people already waiting to rank each other. Clara touched the badge instinctively. Fence contractor R access C. Moreau should have removed it in the car. "I came straight from work," she said. Leah lifted one shoulder. "Some of us escaped work early." More laughter. Clara smiled once, faintly, because resisting would only make everyone uncomfortable in the wrong way. That had become her skill over the years. Containing discomfort privately so other people could remain relaxed publicly. She moved deeper into the party after that. Nobody asked much about her life. People asked where she lived now, whether she was still with the government somehow, whether she liked DC traffic. Then conversations drifted away before answers fully formed. One woman asked her where the restroom supplies were stored, assuming she worked for the venue. Clara answered politely anyway because she had accidentally learned that embarrassment often spreads to whoever acknowledges it first. Near the bar, she saw Daniel. Her ex looked older around the eyes than she remembered. More polished, too. Expensive watch, tailored jacket. The posture of someone who had learned to appear successful before feeling stable. For a second, he just stared at her badge, then at her face. "Clara, hey, I didn't know you were coming. I almost didn't." He nodded slowly. There had never been a dramatic ending between them. No betrayal anyone could point to cleanly, just accumulation, long hours, canceled dinners, classified projects she couldn't discuss, his frustration at never understanding where she disappeared to emotionally. Eventually, he stopped asking questions and started making conclusions instead. "You're hiding, you're stuck, you're afraid to want more." The strange part was that Clara had almost believed him. Daniel glanced toward the crowd. "So what are you doing these days exactly?" She gave the same answer she always gave, systems analysis. He smiled politely, already dismissing it internally. "That sounds intense." "It can be." He nodded again, the way people do when they've decided not to investigate further. Across the room, Leah was telling a story loudly enough for several tables to hear. Clara used to disappear for weeks and come back acting exhausted like she was saving the world. A few people laughed again. Clara looked down at her drink. The problem wasn't the joke itself, it was recognition. Leah had spent most of their lives performing certainty. Clara had spent hers withholding information because every disclosure became either suspicion or competition. By 9:30, she was considering leaving quietly, no announcement, no goodbye. Just a rideshare back to the city and another early morning. Then the sound came, low at first, almost beneath the music. Several guests paused mid-conversation. The vibration deepened across the windows. Someone frowned toward the vineyard entrance. "What is that?" The helicopter appeared above the tree line seconds later. Not cinematic, too close for that, too loud, too practical. Wind tore through the outdoor decorations as it descended beyond the parking area. The music stopped. People began moving toward the windows with nervous curiosity. Leah looked irritated more than alarmed. "Please tell me that's not media." Clara felt something cold settle in her stomach before her phone even vibrated. One message, "Call now," no sender name, just priority routing. She stepped away from the crowd and answered immediately, "Yes." Her expression changed only slightly. "I understand." When she hung up, two dark vehicles were already approaching the entrance gates. The room had gone almost completely quiet now. Venue staff exchanged confused looks as three people entered through the main doors with unmistakable federal identification visible at their belts. Not military uniforms, worse, professional urgency. One of them scanned the room once and walked directly toward Clara. "Mom." Every nearby conversation stopped. "We need you airborne immediately." Leah blinked. "Excuse me?" The official continued without acknowledging her. "There's been a systems compromise. Pentagon command requested you specifically." Silence spread outward in layers. Daniel slowly lowered the glass in his hand. Clara inhaled once. "How long out?" 7 minutes. She nodded automatically, already mentally somewhere else. The official handed her a secured tablet while another quietly spoke into an earpiece near the door. No body in the room moved. Leah stared at her sister as though trying to replace an incorrect photograph with a clearer one. What do you do?" she asked softly. Clara looked at her for the first real time that evening. There was no satisfaction in it, just exhaustion. "It's complicated," and it was. Years of invisible work, long nights, threat assessments, coordination failures, simulation models that only mattered when something broke badly enough for powerful people to panic. Most of her career had existed specifically so nobody would notice it, until moments like this. Daniel sat down heavily in the nearest chair without realizing he had done it. Clara unclipped nothing, not the badge, not the tired expression, not the parts of herself everyone had mistaken for smallness. One of the agents asked quietly, "Ready?" She nodded. As she walked toward the exit, the room parted without instruction, no applause, no apologies, just a silence dense enough to feel physical. Outside, the helicopter blades cut through the cold night air, while vineyard lights trembled beneath the wind. Clara climbed aboard without looking back immediately. Then, just before the door closed, she glanced once toward the house. Leah still stood near the center of the room, motionless among guests, who no longer seemed sure how to speak around her. Not humiliated, not defeated, just confronted by the possibility that she had mistaken visibility for importance. The helicopter lifted seconds later, and the party below resumed eventually, though no one there would remember what they had been talking about before it arrived.